Hi, welcome to Best Whole New World. I'm Jacqueline, and this is video 2 on resetting your inner guidance and unleashing your superpower. We're talking about opening the hood of the car today. Yesterday on video 1, we talked about really in the scope of what I do and how it relates to inner guidance. So I'm an inner guidance mentor, and what I help people do is get back in touch with what their own guidance is wanting and desiring for their life. And I feel that everybody has got that seeds that were planted long, long time ago. You know, when you go back and you think about even in your childhood, things that you love to do, that maybe you were encouraged to do, or maybe you were said, oh no, an artist never makes enough money, you know. But those are your desires. And when you learn to trust and believe in the desires of your heart, your inner guidance can guide you just like a global positioning system, sometimes refer to it as a divine positioning system. It knows where to go at what time, so you're always in the zone. So how do we get there, right? So it's just like when you take your car in to get repaired, or you think there might be something off, it just sounds funny, or life isn't happening exactly the way you thought it would be. You take it to the mechanic and he lifts the hood of your car. You may have an issue, for instance, with a tooth. You feel like there's some discomfort, and you go to a dentist and you open your mouth, and the dentist takes a look and then gives you a prognosis. So everything starts with opening up. And when it comes to your inner guidance, that's what needs to happen in when I work one-on-one with a client, in recognizing what is really there when you open up. So many people are completely separated from their day-to-day conversation and the feelings that they hold within their body and around them. And so, as I mentioned yesterday, that I happen to be like this mirror that reflects back to the other person. So how does that work? So when I open up the car, the hood of the car, or like in the mouth and the dentist, I'm basically saying to somebody, what's up, right? And immediately there is a story. We all have one. So whether it's about relationships, it's about health, it's about career, you know, it's about how things are working, there is a conversation, there's a story. And in that story, there's words and sentences. And in that expression, there is definitely energy. And since thoughts are forces and words are force, each has a different vibration, which is like when I was talking about fine-tuning your note, so you're playing it in perfect pitch. So I actually just listen and I reflect back what somebody might say. So a lot of us have heard already that when you're using the word like I don't know, is to change that up to say I know and then get an answer. And that whole I don't and not is very an expansive category. I have had conversations with many people that would seem on one level to be very self-aware and have done a lot of spiritual work, maybe, or even doing healing work themselves. And yet when they're allowed to be present with me and have themselves reflected back, whether that thought pattern or that energy pattern is their own or it's something they picked up from a client, it is kind of almost like sometimes a Post-it note that somebody stuck on the back of you that says, kick me. And they have regurgitated that information or are present to that pattern, and I am just simply going, hey, did you hear what you just said? And that pause is a lot of times what happens on the other end with the client. And then they go, did I say that? And I'll say it again. And I'll ask them, how does that feel for you? And then they start to become aware, usually, of an uncomfortable feeling. Everybody has different descriptions of what it feels like and where they're feeling it. It's all about the experience of what their body is experiencing. And as I've just lifted the roof, basically opened their story, opened their ability to express for themselves, so much information comes out there. So in reflecting that back, that is the first step for them becoming completely aware of the choices that they're making and what they've identified with, whether they want to keep it or they want to get rid of it. It's like a complete decluttering of someone's energy field. So the mind comprehends and the heart, in the sense we're going to decipher the two energies, is willing to take over. We're going to talk more about that heart taking over on the third video because it's very key important. It's one thing for the head to start to become aware and go, ah, yeah. And many of you may have already had those experiences go, yes, I realize I say that. I realize I say that. I have to think harder. I'll have to work on my mindset. And that is just like, for me, it's a tiny, tiny like piece of the puzzle because the heart overrules the mind from my perspective. The energy of source and your inner guidance vibration that works through you, that's connected to the complete unified field or divine intelligence, God, whatever you want to call it, is all encompassing. And it's much more than just your mind. So we're going to talk about that on 3, but how we go from an awareness that the mind is becoming aware and realizing, uh-oh, I'm aware, now what? So it's like I've done the diagnosis, but I didn't really diagnose. I just reflected back. So I reflected back, and there is a complete awareness on my client's part that that's like, this is what I'm feeling now, and this is what I'm experiencing, and now what do I do? So that will be video 3. And it gets exciting because video 4, then we'll actually have an experience of tuning in and really experiencing what that feels like when we're moving into that next area. And on the 5th video, we're going to go live with a client, and you'll get to actually experience with a wonderful, wonderful person that is willing to be vulnerable and share here online and have her own breakthrough session, taking that leap of faith right here on the station, and that will be on Friday. So, I love you. Have a beautiful day, and see you day 3, video 3.